So let me show you what I got going on. Garage is a mess like always, but so a lot more has been done obviously. Right now I'm working on this steering setup. I got a Mopar box that I build a mount for in there. So a little bit of video from the making of the bracket. It's all 3/16. Did some cardboard templates and welded a nut in there so it's a little easier to bolt in the box. And then that all gets welded into the car. Here you see how it fits. Snug around the box, and then you just run your bolts in through the top, and then there's a few in the bottom as well. And there it is in the car. Just tacked in there for mock-up. But yeah, it came out pretty slick. I definitely like it, and it'll be easy to change if I ever need to change it. This is a steering column out of a 40s Ford, flipped upside down. It still had the key in it. I thought that was super cool, and the switch, so I decided to use it. That got cut down, and I decided to do a chain drive. Get up under there. So I fabbed up this chain drive with the tensioner and got it to run to the box. Everything's just put together now. Like literally nothing's welded. It's just kind of fabbed up. Here's where I exit on the side. I didn't extend my shaft out at all. A lot of guys will extend the shaft so it comes. I Frenched a panel in there. I think that looks pretty cool. It'll look pretty dope once I get going. But yeah, that's what we're gonna work on today. Let me show you what I got going on. Here's the view from inside the car. Like I said, 40s Ford car, steering column. I got this from a buddy, and it still had the key, which I thought was super rad, and the switch, and I tested it works. So I did a piece of flat stock just to mount this to. In here I have two pieces of tube rolled that need to get welded to the bottom plate there. For structure, underneath the floor is tube as well. I tried to get this as safe as possible, and like I said, I will post some videos and pics of what I did underneath as well. But today, steering. So I took this 40 Ford and I cut it, and so it's cut here. It's got a joint, goes into a section back there. I had to mill all the tube down. I got bearings in the ass end of that guy, the front of that guy, and the very back here. And then I got gearing stuck on there. So there's the top gear, the bottom gear, and it actually bolts right on to that Mopar box. So that's in there. And then I got this tensioner that I got on Amazon for a whole 10 bucks. And I built a bracket for that up here in the back, and the tensioner keeps tension on the chain, and we have steering. That is an early Mopar box. Like I said, a lot of guys will extend the shaft on the Mopar, output shaft on the Mopar box to get it further out, but I wanted to do something a little different, and I like the look of that recessed area for the steering rod. Yeah, the Mopar box mounts into a bracket that I made that's welded into here. I need to finish weld all through here. There's so much welding that needs done in this car. But yeah, that's my steering setup. Today I'm gonna blow this apart. I need to make some caps for my bearings. I have in here on, you can see the bearing just right there, and there's one back behind here and one right here. So I need to make a cap for the front and back of this, and then I don't need a cap for that side because this is so close, it holds it all together. So I'm gonna make two caps, clean this up. weld everything solid, get it where it needs to be. Like I said, these brackets I made, nothing's welded, it's just all tacked in there. Even this bar is not quite welded yet. So today, lots of welding. So, welded those sides in. Still trying to stabilize all this up here. So basically, I had a buddy that bend me 2 bars here. I also bend a head bar just in case I would want it. I'm in no way trying to build a drag car, but it's nice to have some protection around you. Those 2 bars are my structure for under my dash. It's holding my steering box. I'm gonna do a 90-degree brake booster underneath the dash, pedal, all that stuff is getting supported by these. Obviously, steering is pretty important that it's not moving and safe. So they're welded in now. I need to tie them together. So I'm gonna get some tube and do 2 stringers, 1 on either side, and then I'll do 1 lower too, just so that it's nice and strong. I don't want, playing the steering wheel because this shit ain't fucking right. So that's what I'm gonna do next. I got it welded as much as I could reach. I'm gonna pull these fenders off when I finish welding. And we'll weld the rest of it. There's a bunch of welding that has to happen underneath. Obviously, I still need to make this piece up or the transmission, and this firewall is just sitting there. That's all got to get tied in yet too. So yeah, lots of work to do. Let's keep moving. So there we go. Has one tacked in, the other tacked in. Very race car-ish, but like I said, I'm not building a race car. Get them things welded in. And that makes this whole assembly super solid. And we'll see where we go from there. Cut those up, put them in. Obviously, I need to weld and clean up a little and finish them up. If you noticed in my time lapse, I don't have a hole saw. I don't do anything tubular very often. So I just kind of eyeball it. I'm sure there's a better way to do it. All the math and geometry and all that stuff, I'm shitty at that, man. I'm more of a just look at it and make a mark and make a cut. But yeah, once you get that done, it's really not too bad. You're just cutting it so it goes around the other tubes. So I'm gonna weld those in and then finally pull that all apart, and I can show you the innards and the guts since I didn't do a video of me making it. Here's my whole setup. Like I said, I had a steering column from a 40s Ford that got sacrificed and cut all up. That's my front piece. It matches or bolts up by there. I have these bearings that George got forever and a year ago. Bought a giant box of these for doing steering columns. I don't even know what size they are, but now it's on the floor. But yeah, irrelevant because I have a mill and a lathe. And yeah, so this is the original 40 steering column. You can see it's got the old school end on it for a Ford wheel. One of these D shafts. I added a 41 tooth spline to this end and to the end of the thing. And then this all runs back. Here's steering wheel. And here, this bearing goes in this cup. This all goes up through here. It's hard to do with one hand. Yeah, that all goes up in there. I got a bearing holding the solid there. And I got my U-joint. And then the chain comes down to the box there. This tensioner. This is a motorcycle tensioner. I got the right size pulley coming for it. It should be here tomorrow. But it's fully adjustable left to right. And yeah, that sits over top of here-ish, like so. Puts tension on the chain, bolts above it. All that runs back through another chunk of the column that I welded to the top of the bar with a bearing in either side. All of it done with a 420 chain. And this is what I need to make. I have one of these caps that I made. I need to make one more. So this cap will cap the back side. And then I basically just need some type of flat washer, cap, whatever, that goes in to keep this front bearing from coming out. And then I gotta figure out a way to put it all together. I did spray some bluing fluid on this just so I know where to cut it. Right now, this shaft needs to be cut from here because it sticks out too far. And that's the front of the bearing there. This one sits about there, so I gotta cut that off, attach the cap to the end of the column that's in the car still, and then add something in here that's solid. I mean, honestly, in there is not even that important because once this is all put together and bolted, it's good to go. While I have it apart, this key system, literally there's a plunger that goes down and a little collet that wraps around here that I have sitting somewhere on my messy table here. I'll find it in a second, but that collet goes around my steering shaft. And when that key is, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but when that key is down, see that little teeny tiny little thing in there? When you turn that key into the down position, it's down, and when it's up, it's up. And you can see the plunger in there. So that's up, that's down, and it just locks onto the shaft, onto the bracket that goes on the shaft, which, like I said, is here somewhere, but I got to put that bracket on. I need to, these Allens that are in here are literally just pressured down. I want to do a little divot in there so that these are actually catching something. That way I'm not driving down the road. This lets loose, torsion, torque. Next thing you know, I got nothing. I did drill my shaft out so that these Allens go all the way through it. And the same with these set screws. They go all the way in and thread right into my shaft. So I should have made a video on making this. It was fun. Stock, this is all milled down a little bit. The stock end fits into the end of here, but then my bearings were all a little bit smaller. So I had to chuck this into the lathe, mill it down so that these all fit properly. You can see here my fucking bit was about toast and all I had was the one to get through it, so I forced it. But yeah, milled that down so it's actually bigger underneath here than here. Same here. This is wider than underneath here, but it's all milled down and pretty. So I'm gonna put all this together now. I gotta get that collet on there. I gotta weld up all of the brackets in the car. So the back bracket that I was talking about is here. And I just made this simple bracket to hold it onto my bar. That needs to be welded in. And then that bracket holds the tensioner. And then this bracket holds the whole steering column. So none of it is welded. It's all just tacked. And my welder is being funky. So we'll see what we can do. Figured I'd show you what I'm doing here. Basically where this gear sits in here, I want a nice divot for our set screw to sit in and lock. So that guy is gonna sit right in there and lock. And that will keep me a little safer than, you know, just driving it up against this thing. And this shaft is so damn hard. I know in the time lapse it's hard to tell, but I pulled out a couple different bits and just sized it up until I got to where I wanted to be. And I think I might even go just one step further. Just a little bit more. But yeah, this is so hard from it being solid. You can see it's not solid, but it's pretty damn thick. And then milling it down like I said, when I got to the end of this guy and was pulling through here, my last bit that I had, cutting tool that I had for the machine was dull, and I just forced it through, and you can see all the ridges and stuff, which is totally fine. It's smooth enough to accept that bearing. And but because it got so hot, this is like hard and so hard. So I'm gonna mark out the other one here because there's two in here, one and then two. So mark out the other one, finish this one up. I cut the end off here, and I got my cap cleaned up, so I'm gonna put that on, and I'm actually just gonna tack weld it because this whole assembly can slide in through the front. So you slide that all the way back in one way, and then this, you know, boom, bolts up to the top. So I don't really need to be able to take the back off. So I was gonna make it removable, tap this out and throw some set screws in it, but I'm never gonna take it off. So I'm just gonna stick it on there. So I'm gonna finish this. Here's some shots of that rest of the steering shaft all put together. I did get the collar in there, and there it is. When the car's in park and the switch is turned off above the key there, you turn it and it'll lock that shaft so it doesn't spin. So that plunger I showed you earlier just jams down inside there. The rest of the film here is a few days later. Some friends came over. We had a nice little barbecue and hung out for a couple hours, you know. Got a little bit of work done on the car, and yeah, you see Kevin and Chris pop in periodically in the shots here. They have no clue they're even going to be on an episode, so. But yeah, putting everything together here, and here it is. Everything's reinstalled, welded. That chain fits a little snugger now. Got everything put exactly where I want it. There's the tension wheel. I still have the right size bracket that I need to put on there, but for now that rubber one's doing just fine. And yeah, you can see it's a little hard to turn with my fingers, but once I get a wheel on there, obviously it works. You lock the key there, and it locks the shaft. Pretty straightforward. But yeah, the engineering to put this together, you know, took a little while to figure it out, but I'm super proud. It all came out real good, and I'm gonna feel nice, safe driving it too. That chain's nice and sturdy, and I don't think there'll be any slippage. So, as always, if you like what you see here, make sure you comment, like, subscribe, share the video with your friends. Help me build this page. Something I do enjoy doing is building all this stuff, and it is fun to share, even though sometimes I do get a little frustrated with it. But yeah, I'll keep trying to share as much as I can.